All right, Shalom. I want to start off, as always, by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha Kodash, double honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love into the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity, and I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And as you can see, the name of this lesson is going to be More News and Prophecies. And in this lesson, I have a few things here lined up of information and current events that's happening on the planet Earth, man. And I pray that this lesson is edifying unto you brothers and sisters out there. Now, the first thing that I wanted to cover is this video from Redacted that was done by Clayton and Natalie Morris here on YouTube. And as you can see, the title of their video is called, "Oh Shit, Here We Go Again." And I'll play this video here for you brothers and sisters. I have it kind of sped up a little bit, just a little bit, because I wanted to play a little bit of it. They bring out some good information concerning the coming lockdowns that Esau has prepared on the planet Earth. And these laws that he has prepared, man, are wicked first and foremost, but they're very draconian-like, okay? The lockdowns that we had, during the C-19, that was just a test run, okay, to see how the people will react, what they need to, freshen up on, and so on and so forth. But this time around, okay, when they lock this thing back down again, and I'm just speaking as a man, because I don't know how they're going to do it. But if another lockdown comes, this time it's going to be harsh, okay, because of the control that they will have over the people. So without further ado, I'll play this first clip here, and hopefully it's edifying to you brothers and sisters out there. So here we go.
Get ready, my friends, for harsher, more stringent lockdowns during the next pandemic. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of the World Health Organization and former UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock, who warned yesterday during testimony that we need to lock down harder next time. We need to lock down harder, his words, when the next severe virus hits us, because that severe next virus is coming. Remember, Bill Gates told us that the next one would be more severe. It's already in the works. Oh, it's coming. So, of course, it's coming, and they will lock us down harder than ever before, because that, according to these health ministers, was the great mistake, that we didn't lock down hard enough. We were too lenient on people. Yesterday, this pinhead, Matt Hancock, testified before the UK's COVID inquiry to figure out what went wrong and what went right. And newsflash, nothing went right. In fact, it was the worst possible outcome, and Matt Hancock, the health minister at the time, has blood all over his hands. So here's how the Telegraph lays out the sort of web of people involved in there. There's Matt Hancock right in the center of your screen, the who's who of the folks involved in the lockdowns that screwed millions of people out of their jobs and health and future income. And any other thing you can think of. Mental health disorders increase. All
manner of now unpredicted deaths. You recall Matt Hancock is the one who had his his messages leaked from the woman who was writing a book with him that showed that a lot of the policies they made during the COVID pandemic, they made the policies first and then sort of reached back and said, where's the science for this? What can we promote it with? How do we use this to scare people to implement these rules, showing that they were not doing this based on any kind of science at all, but only as a power grab.
No,
in fact, when asked to recall this bit, when asked to speak for this, James Bethel, the former health minister, said, yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. Just be grateful we didn't kill your pets. Yeah. This is the same Matt Hancock we're talking about.
Yeah, and this is the same guy who, those same text messages, of course, admitted that you wanted to use intimidation tactics. Yes. How can we scare people more is basically what he said. How can we scare people into this? What can we do to really terrify people? Because that's what...
Right, and Esau uses fear to promote his agenda, all right? He uses his media. He uses, certain, politicians and officials to put fear into the people's minds, man, to make them pretty much come to him for a solution. He's always done this, man. So don't be surprised this go around when or if another lockdown happens, he puts, fear in the people's hearts and just make them give up their so-called sovereignty, all right, their freedoms unto him. This is how Esau get down, man. And they're speaking about also, the law that they have on the books, how Esau made laws and then, came back and said that they didn't do this right, they didn't do that right, because this nigga don't care, all right? Esau knows what he's doing. He's not like confused or something, but he played like he don't know what's going on and, oh, we forgot about this and that. Esau, listen, man, we are not fooled by how you get down, dude. We know how you work, bro. Everything you're doing, you already prescribed. You talked about it in your meetings. We're just seeing a manifestation of it. But here we go.
That's what you want from your health ministers. So he was the central figure in pushing this draconian lockdowns, the most draconian lockdowns imaginable, but it's going to get worse when they will launch more severe lockdowns. When Boris Johnson made this announcement, Matt Hancock was the man behind this announcement. It's very ominous to watch this now. It's like a minute and a half. Watch him announcing the lockdowns for the very first time.
The idea of having one stream of income just didn't sit well with me.
Good evening. The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer. And so tonight, I want to update you on the latest steps we're taking to fight the disease and what you can do to help. And I want to begin by reminding you why the UK has been taking the approach that we have. Without a huge national effort to halt the growth of this virus, there will come a moment when no health service in the world could possibly cope, because there won't be enough ventilators, enough intensive care beds, enough doctors and nurses. And as we've seen elsewhere in other countries that also have fantastic healthcare systems, that is the moment of real danger. To put it simply, if too many people become seriously unwell at one time, the NHS will be unable to handle it, meaning more people are likely to die, not just from coronavirus, but from other illnesses as well. So it's vital to slow the spread of the disease, because that is the way we reduce the number of people needing hospital treatment at any one time, so we can protect the NHS's ability to cope and save more lives. And that's why we've been asking people to stay at home during this pandemic. And though huge numbers are complying, and I thank you all, the time has now come for us all to do more. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home, because the critical thing we must do to stop the disease spreading between households. That is why people will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes. Shopping for basic necessities as infrequently as possible. One form of exercise a day, for example, a run, walk, or cycle, alone or with members of your household.
Or shag.
Any medical need to provide care
or an office
help
party.
A vulnerable person.
Right.
And traveling to and from work, but only where this is absolutely necessary and cannot be done from home.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all. That's it.
You can't have cocktail parties from home. You can't. I mean, we tried it during the pandemic. People tried it, but no, he decided that was absolutely necessary. This is weird to watch now. I feel like I have almost trauma around it.
It is. It's very painful to watch. And I went through a whole bunch of his speeches today, not just that one, but a whole bunch of them in research for today's segment. And what's amazing about that announcement, we now know, is that Matt Hancock knew at that time that lockdowns would cause more harm than good. So, I mean, it wasn't even close, actually.
Well, the video we showed yesterday showed that the World Health Organization already had poverty statistics about what would happen with lockdowns. They knew how many more, girls would be married off early, how many more child brides, how many more people would be pushed into poverty. So that was presumably information that could have been shared with governments.
So then it was wild yesterday for him to try this sort of half-hearted apology, because he knew ahead of time. It's like premeditated murder. Like, he knew ahead of time how much this would screw up society, and then did it anyway. So yesterday, he came up with this half-hearted apology during this inquiry, and he turned to the families of those who were there to look him down and stare him down, who were had lost loved ones, who were there to confront him. So he turned to them to give this sort of half-hearted apologies. These families turned away from him, didn't even want to look him in the eye. Here was this half-hearted, weird apology yesterday from Matt Hancock.
And if I may say so, I am profoundly sorry for the impact that had. I'm profoundly sorry for each death that has occurred. And I also understand why, for some, it will be hard to take.
Matt Hancock, you can go to hell, and everybody a part of the UK Parliament and all you Edomites around the planet Earth, man. That little fake apology don't mean nothing, nigga, because you're coming with something worse, okay? You're coming with something worse. Now, we don't know exactly what it is, but he's going to come with something that's going to transition the world, man. It's going to transition the whole world and change everything as we know it, all right, today. Okay, which leads me onto the second video here, all right, about the digital pound, which is over in the UK. Something also called the Bitcoin. If you've been watching the Thursday lives, all right, me and the brother Karabad, we reported on the Bitcoin as soon as it launched. Okay, as soon as the UK came out and, pretty much introduced it to the people, saying that this is where the money, will pretty much be, we spoke about it, man. And now here, this is a video from GB News, all right, came out about 2 days ago. The title of the video says, "Digital Pound, with a CBDC, you will lose complete control over your wealth." And all this stuff, all right, go hands in hand, man. This climate BS, the issue, all right, with these banks and digital currency, these lockdowns, all this stuff go hands in hand. Them wanting to bring a cyber attack, all this go hands in hand, man. 15-minute cities, it's all tied together. Your social credit score, digital IDs, it's all tied together. Esau is not hiding what he wants to do in the planet Earth, man. Okay, and he's moving forward. But I'll play this video here. I'll speed it up a little bit because I want to play this whole video. Okay, all of this is good because these are people over in the UK who are about to experience this, man. Okay, with the digital pound. But here we go.
Very interesting consultation closes tomorrow. Many of you might not even know that it is a thing. Do you know what a central bank digital currency is, so-called the digital pound? I imagine that many of you might say, no, you don't know what it is. Here to help us understand what it is and what it means is the economist Vicky Price. Good evening to you. Vicky, cut straight to the chase. Help my viewers understand what is a central bank digital currency.
It's a currency that is issued by the central bank, the Bank of England in this case. It's being considered in lots of other countries as well. And you have a certain amount that you can use. Each person can have somewhere between £10,000 and £20,000 in that currency, which basically sort of allows you to use this money to pay for all sorts of things that you may need without going through the banking system, basically, which makes it cheaper, supposedly, and quicker for those transactions to take place. But it is meant to be in parallel with cash. In other words, with sterling, which will be issued by the central banks. It's not eliminating cash altogether, but it is a serious problem in terms of what does it mean for the banking system as a whole if you don't use the banking system when you're doing those transactions, possibly, and what does it also mean in terms of do you have anonymity when you're doing these transactions, or will eventually this central bank currency take over all other means of transactions that you make, and therefore you become basically seen as with every transaction you make by the state making those transactions, so anonymity sort of disappears from the system.
Yeah, I got to say, Vicky, I am not a fan of CBDCs at all. For the reasons that you describe, there's a massive loss of privacy, if you ask me. You're ceding control, essentially, to an organisation, the Bank of England, who, quite frankly, Vicky, I would say, have behaved appallingly and, I would say probably quite negligently recently. They've failed in their single job to maintain inflation. So why would we want to cede even more control to them?
Well, the truth is, of course, that sterling is backed by the Bank of England. It's a legal tender. You can use it wherever you want and pay with it. And this central bank currency will also be doing the same thing. What the Bank of England and other central banks have been worried about is the growth of non-bank financial intermediaries that have been developed very significantly now and which they cannot control. And the second is the growth of cryptocurrencies, which are used not so much for payment, but mainly in order to perhaps sort of invest in a currency and hope that the price will go up. But truth is that it has also been used for criminal transactions and hiding, where the money is going to and also where it's coming from and what exactly it is hiding in terms of what has happened behind that type of transaction. So I think it is a reaction to this and also a reaction to the fact that cash is being used a lot less. Now, there has to be a strong reason for justifying moving to a central bank digital currency from where we are now. And I think the consultation that's going on at present is aimed to take all those issues into account before moving into the next phase. And we're still a long way from having decided across all the banks, the central banks of the world and the International Monetary Fund and the Bank for International Settlements, that this is the way forward. But it could well be, and I think it is true that cash transactions have declined to something like possibly 15% of everything that happens now. They were much, much higher just a few decades ago. But is that the reason for moving to central bank digital currency?
Vicky, because before I let you go, you see, I would raise issue with this. Economists and etc. saying, yes, cash is in decline. I would argue that's not because in often cases personal choice, it's because we're being forced in that direction. To me, this all feels like some kind of agenda playing out to actually remove cash as much as possible from the system. So many of my viewers, for example, will say that they want to be able to go and pay with cash, but they're not able to. Signs up everywhere now saying cashless shop, cashless restaurant, cards only. So yes, we're reducing the volume of cash we use, but that's because we're being forced into that.
Right. And I'm sure our brothers and sisters have encountered this in certain stores, certain restaurants. They don't accept cash, man. You go to certain high-end so-called apartment complexes, they don't deal with cash, man, at all. All payments are made digitally, okay, whether it be a card or you paying online. That's all that they're accepting. So yes, we're being slowly forced into going cashless, man. That's the ultimate goal, because with cash, you still have freedom to buy what you want without being traced. Okay, you can make under the table payments, right? Like with certain barbers, guys who work on cars, mechanics, they get paid under the table cash, man. And that money is not traced. Okay, it's not tracked. So what Esau wants to do is to get rid of that. And he wants to be able to trace and track every single transaction that happens in the planet. That's the ultimate goal, man. As it tells you in prophecy, that no man may be able to buy or sell save he that have that mark. That's how serious it's about to get in the planet Earth, man. But we're seeing the stepping stones to this thing happening, man. All right, it's playing out right now.
I have to say that I agree with you entirely in that. You go to places to try and pay by cash and they say only card. And yet cash is, as I said at the beginning, a legal tender. I mean, your pound that you're holding, you have to accept it. And I'm very surprised. They started with COVID. Quite a lot of things that started with COVID, lots of restrictions seem to have remained since, which make very little sense. And the truth also is, yes, we use contactless payments. We do a lot of digital currency transactions anyway right now. The question is, can you reduce some of that cost to retailers and us? Possibly, maybe the central bank digital currency will do that. But in reality, lots of people now, particularly with the cost of living crisis, are looking at cash a lot more, because doing contactless doesn't necessarily tell you how much you've got left immediately in your balance. And what cash has now allows you to do is perhaps budget a little bit better. And I mentioned this 15% figure for 2021, but actually we've seen a bit of an increase in cash being used for precisely those reasons. And the fact that loads of firms still and retail outlets still don't accept it is a real problem.
Indeed. You say it doesn't make much sense, by the way. It makes perfect sense to me. I do think there is an agenda at play. People have got a little bit happy and a little bit too comfortable with the amount of power and control that they had during COVID and are looking to extend it. That's my view. Vicky Price, I thank you for yours too. One of the things, viewers, I just want to play this to you because we're talking about the Bank of England central bank digital currency, right? But listen to this from the IMF. This is where alarm bells ring in my mind. Listen.
If we are to be successful, CBDCs could not be fragmented national propositions. To have transactions more efficient and fairer, we need systems that connect countries. In other words, we need interoperability.
Right, and I want to get to their word, interoperability. Okay, she said we need that. Interoperability. All right, there we go. I thought I couldn't spell it first, but there we go. Interoperability. It says the ability of computer systems or software to exchange and make use of information, the ability of military equipment or groups to operate in conjunction with each other. But this first definition here, the ability of computers, systems, and software. And guess what? Blockchain is a is a system that they will be using with the CBDC, man. It's already in place. They've said this hundreds of times at the World Economic Forum. That's why they're going to be able to track and trace everything through using the blockchain system. And I encourage you, brothers and sisters out there who don't know what blockchain is to go to YouTube and watch some videos about the blockchain. Okay? Very interesting. But I'll go back here to the video now.
And for this reason, at the IMF, we are working hard on the concept of a global CBDC platform to trade and to manage risks.
She said that their work.
Economy.
So sick of this shit.
Maybe one day all airlines will have seats like this. Fly Emirates, fly better. Velocity Global takes care of everything, from onboarding to pay to benefits.
Yeah, so that's the head of the IMF there. Listen to this one as well, my last little clip for you. This is the Bank for International Settlements. Listen.
Cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability.
He said we will have complete control of your money. There will be no more privacy, man. Everything that you buy will be tracked and traced. And he mentioned regulations coming with the CBDC. And why they're going to regulate it? Because of this climate thing, man, of this so-called climate situation. You know, your carbon footprint is going to be tracked and traced. For example, if you go to the store and you buy, certain meat and some produce, guess what? Next time you go back to the grocery store, your CBDC won't be able to buy that meat anymore because you have used up your meat points for that month. So your carbon footprint, all right, will be recorded, and everything that you buy, everything that you do is going to be traced, man. And they're going to program your money only to buy the things that they want you to buy or that you're allowed to buy. Okay, this is serious business, man. This is total control. They're telling you. This is the Bank of International Settlements. These are the real guys. Like, these ain't no little guys. These are the real guys, man. The IMF, okay, the BIS, this is real. If these banks are into this thing, because these are the banks, okay? These are the big guys. And they're talking about the CBDC. Lady mentioned that she want to make that they want to make a global CBDC system for everybody, man. As the prophecy states, he calls it all. And they're openly telling you this stuff, bro. Openly. But most people are not paying attention, okay? And most people are not going to take heed until it's too late. But hey, as the scriptures say, may your blood be upon your own head. Because we have been constantly warning about this stuff, man. Constantly doing videos to give you brothers and sisters insight on what's coming down the pipe, man. And how serious life about to get in the near future, man.
And also, we will have the technology to enforce that.
These are huge red flags to me, Ben Habib, because too many people in unelected bodies, in lots of cases, have got a little bit too happy and comfortable with having power. And when I hear all about this, so it's one thing the Bank of England doing this, but that's not enough. The IMF saying it needs to all be globalized. Later on at 7 o'clock, you're going to hear from Nigel Farage. He's going to tell the story about people trying to kick him out of the UK banking system. When all of this is controlled and all digital and it's all programmable, so people will be able to dictate what you can spend, where you can spend it. There's a big piece about digital ID, all kind of embedded within this. This makes me deeply uncomfortable and I reject it. Where are you on it?
Well, I'm deeply uncomfortable with it as well. And just to emphasize a couple of things that Vicky said, this is the antithesis of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency is a supreme mechanism by which to manage your own transactions outside any form of scrutiny. And it's completely decentralized. It's not even intermediated. The use of cash, deposits and so on, is intermediated at the moment through banks. You can hold physical cash, and I'm going to come back to that because physical cash is a use of cash that we can actually, liberates us. But this central bank digital currency is the ultimate in a regulated currency. Every single currency unit will be registered in your name at the Bank of England, and they will know precisely what you did with it. And they can do with that unit of currency whatever they wish. So, for example, when I was an MEP, I was part of the economics committee, and we interviewed Christine Lagarde before she took over as head of the ECB. And she gave a pretty drab interview until we started talking about central bank digital currencies, and her eyes lit up.
It does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, Ben.
And as a Brexiteer, you can imagine the kind of reaction that, engendered in me. But the reason her eyes lit up was because she knew that would allow the ECB to take interest rates into negative territory. With cash, you can at least take it out of the bank and put it under your mattress if you don't like what they're doing. With the CBDC, you lose complete control of your wealth.
Right, exactly. With CBDCs, you can't just, go to the bank and take your money out. CBDCs is in cash. It is a bunch of numbers, man, that you have absolutely no control of, okay? This is how serious it's going to get, man. Esau crazy, but it's prophecy. You will not have control to just, go to the bank and say, look, I want to get my CBDCs and take it somewhere else. No, sir. The Fed controls that. You have no power over that, okay? And each country will, have their own form of it, but it's all going to be tied into that blockchain system and controlled by these banks, man. These top banks, that is.
I suppose it's worth mentioning and sort of recognizing that already we use digital currencies. They're just controlled by the international banking sector and private banks. So, who do I trust more, the Bank of England or Barclays?
No, this is different.
I'm fairly agnostic.
This is
So what we have is digitalized use of a cash system.
Yeah.
This is a CBDC will be a registered unit of currency in the central bank. it'll have your name on it. It's not like you going and just using your credit card as a mechanism to expedite cash moving through the system. This is much more controlling.
Yeah, and it's also very confusing. So when you look at this consultation, which closes tomorrow on the Bank of England, I mean, good luck even understanding the questions that they are asking you. I would say it's deliberately confusing. But also when I hear about, we're talking about trialing things like universal basic income, it wouldn't surprise me if you fast forward a few years, you've got the situation where you've got this global digital currency controlled by, I don't even know, the World Economic Forum, the IMF. You can pick your body, and then we're all allowed, all of us plebs get scattered a few coins that they decide where we can spend it, but only if we're good enough, because of course many of us will be familiar with what happens in China when it comes to the social credit system there. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it all? You might even be sitting there going, what on earth is Michelle talking about now? Are you? Or are you on the other side of the fence that actually thinks that this is a very big red flag?
Yeah, so there you have it, man. They know it's coming, okay? And there's nothing that they can do about it, man. All they can do is express their frustration, but they're not going to change the minds of these devils, man, especially over there in the UK. They're going headlong with this thing, man. So I got a scripture here, precept, and I'll move on to the next thing. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices or his plans, his schemes. Okay? We have the Holy Spirit, man. We understand these scriptures. We know exactly what this devil is about to do in the planet Earth, man. And we come out and we tell you people, all right, the plans of these elites and prophecies so that you can prepare your minds for these things, man. But only the elect is going to take heed. Everybody's not going to listen, man. The vast majority of the people, according to prophecy, eventually they will take the MOTB because their livelihoods, their status will be on the line, man. Their jobs, right? It's all going to be on the line. And you're going to have to make a major decision to either take this MOTB or be homeless. But we have Yahweh Shina Shai, man. Okay? The Lord promised to feed us, promised to clothe us. That should be our hope. But we got to continue, all right, to preach his word, to work on ourselves, okay, to pray, so that when that time comes, when that danger comes, the Most High, can provide for us and do those miracles, man. Okay? So moving on here to the next thing. Video here from WeOn News. It says French police fatally shot teenager. And if you've been paying attention to the news, man, this riot has been lasting for the past 5 days. Okay, for 5 days, they've been wrecking shop over there in France. And so I'll play this video here so that you can just, get some insight to what's going on if you haven't been paying attention to this situation over in France.
France has been rocked by days of unrest after a police officer fatally shot a 17-year-old teenager. Protesters are torching vehicles. Town halls across the country are witnessing tensions. And the French President Emmanuel Macron, meanwhile, has urged the French citizens to remain calm. Our next report, getting you the complete story.
France is on the edge. Vehicles, trams and bikes have been put on fire across the country. Protesters have clashed with police in several French cities. The police were seen using tear gas to disperse the crowd. French President Emmanuel Macron is calling for citizens to remain calm. This chaos is not because of France's pension reforms. It's because of the deadly police shooting of Nahel M., a teenager of North African descent who was shot at during a traffic stop. What followed were overnight riots across France. In the working-class Paris suburb of Nanterre, protesters threw fireworks at the police and set cars on fire. Clashes were also witnessed in the northern city of Lille and in Toulouse in the southwestern region. In the northern suburbs of Paris, a town hall was torched by protesters. French authorities are expected to deploy at least 40,000 police officers across France, out of which around 5,000 security officials will be deployed in and around Paris. Reports suggest at least 180 people have been arrested across France. Macron has described the second night of violence as unjustifiable. This morning, he held a crisis meeting where he denounced the attacks on state institutions. A French prosecutor said the officer who fatally shot the teen has been placed under formal investigation. The prosecutor said previously the teenager failed to comply with the traffic stop order, and on Tuesday, the boy failed to obey the officer's orders. Meanwhile, the mother of the 17-year-old victim led a march in Nanterre. While speaking to the French media after the shooting, she remembered her son as a kind and respectful boy. The route they chose for the march was the same as the one Nahel M. used to take on his motorbike. Hundreds gathered in the suburb to demand justice.
Young Nahil, his honor was saved thanks to cameras. If the cameras weren't there, one could have played with his profile. Oh, he's already had trouble with police before. Oh, his past is a bit sketchy. No, this is a 17-year-old young man who was killed by police. That should be recognized. We have to put in place several actions within the police and within the population.
On the site where the teen was killed, several paid floral tributes. On the other hand, ministers are stressing on civil order.
It goes without saying that those who set fire to schools and town halls will be found, arrested, and brought to justice.
Meanwhile, the shooting has reignited the debate around police tactics in France. Rights groups have questioned the treatment of people by police in low-income suburbs, and particularly against ethnic minorities. Bureau Report, We On, World is One.
We On.
All right, so there you have it, man. It's going down in France. They're still rioting, all right, at this very moment over this boy getting killed, but this is all the working on the Most High God. He's causing all this chaos. He got the people, rioting and protesting, wrecking shop. It's all prophecy, okay? And these things are going to, continue to increase in the planet Earth until the Lord come back. So I got a precept here, and I'll move on to the next thing, get ready to close out. This is book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9. I have it pulled up in the NLT version of the Bible. It says, he answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High, right, will bring judgment on the world he has created. And we are seeing parts of the signs that the Most High has given through his servant, the prophets. We see the MOTB being prepared. We see the 15-minute cities being prepared. We're seeing famines and plagues. All these things being prepared, man. It is so much going on in the planet Earth. It is impossible to keep up with all this news, man. Okay? No one man can cover everything. It's too much. But this is why brothers, all around the world, man, we cover, different topics of news, man. Because the Most High God is working, okay? It says there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues. It says unstable leaders and confused rulers. We're seeing this in the planet Earth, man, okay? National rebellions, man, all right? Unstable leaders, confused rulers, all right? Joe Biden. He's an unstable leader, man. That old ass nigga. I don't even see how he the president. He better can stay, awake. He can fall asleep at every press conference. Better can understand what he's saying. He's always down whispering. This is a joke, man. But this is the people, chose, so to speak. Even though, so he was put in office by the elites. But, the people so-called asked for him because it was so-called tied to Trump. I say put Trump back in office, man. Don't nobody like Donald Trump. And it makes Esau act a fool, man. Okay? Esau loved Trump. In Esau's mind, Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. He's the savior, all right, to put an end to all the crazy stuff going on in America and around the world. Donald Trump gonna stop it according to them. You crackers are bugged out. It says, when you see these things happening, you will know that they are what Yahweh Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. It says, the beginning and the end of everything that's happened in this world are clear. The same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. And we're seeing mighty signs, man. And we're at the end of Esau's kingdom, all right? Last thing I have here is a video from We On News, okay? As you can see, the title of this video says, Baltimore Block Party Shooting Leaves 2 dead and 28 injured. And you can take a wild guess to the nationality of the individuals who was at this party. Take a wild guess, okay? It's niggas, man. Now, granted, you might have a few, either might sprinkle here and there, of some Northern Kingdom here and there, but mainly it's Judah, man. Wherever Judah is at, there's chaos, okay? Niggas can't get enough of violence, man. That's why I don't go out around a crowd of niggas, bro. I know what time it is, man. Every time I see a crowd of niggas jumping up and down, throwing gang signs, swinging their flags and whatnot, I get out their way. Because niggas are crazy, okay? I've been amongst niggas shooting, all right? Beefing. And when you go out to most places, you don't know who beefing, bro. You're going, to parties or, something just to have, a good time. But it's some niggas in there beefing, man. About something small, okay? And they started to shoot. And random people, so-called, gets killed. All because of some beef amongst knuckle-dragging niggas, man. It's a shame. But it's the curses, all right? Jake is bugged out, man. So here we go.
The United States again. 2 people were killed and 28 others wounded when gunfire erupted at a block party in Baltimore City that adjoins Washington, D.C., which is the capital. Police say the gunshots rang out around 12:30 a.m. on Sunday. An 18-year-old woman was found dead at the scene. A 28-year-old man was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. At least 9 of the injured had gunshot wounds. All the victims were adults.
On officers' arrival, we located multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We located 1 female adult deceased on the scene. 9 additional victims were transported from the location to area hospitals. Additionally, we had 20 other victims walk into hospitals throughout the region. Our detectives are currently working an extensive crime scene.
No arrests have been made so far. Investigators are combing through security video to identify the suspects. The motive and also the type of guns used remains under investigation.
I want those who are responsible to hear me very clearly. We will not stop until we find you, and we will find you. Until then, I hope with every single breath that you take, that you think about the lives that you took, and you think about the lives that you impacted here tonight. We're also asking that anyone that knows anything about what happened here, anything about this mass shooting, to come forward with any piece of information.
Now, the latest incident comes in the run-up to the 4th of July holiday with a string of gatherings planned over the coming 2 days. Police have reported nearly 130 homicides and close to 300 shootings in the United States so far this year.
Yep, there you have it, man. And with this 4th of July stuff, I suggest, brothers and sisters, use wisdom. Family's going to be barbecuing. They're doing it right now, this weekend. But on Tuesday, that's, so-called 4th of July. People don't have to work, for the most part. And niggas going to be outside, man. Monday night at 12 o'clock, niggas going to be shooting their guns. But a lot of people going to be getting killed, man. And I'm going to be in the house, Lord willing. I'm going to be in the house, not around niggas in the house. Okay? Chilling. I might be with some brothers. Who knows? But I ain't going to be around you niggas, man. You want to shoot up each other, you go right ahead. Okay? You go right ahead, man. I don't have time for it. All right? I don't want to be around you niggas, man. And I end here with this Isaiah 59. I have it put up in the NLT version of the Bible. All right. And it speaks about the behavior and condition of our people, man. Okay. This Isaiah 59 verse 3, it says, your hands are the hands of murderers, and your fingers are filthy with sin. This is Jake all the way, man. You niggas are a bunch of murderers, and you glorify it, man. Okay. You even have our women, encouraging this kind of behavior, man. Talking about they want a real nigga, a thug, a real killer, right? Agent Doll, she said that you can date her unless you have about 3 bodies. So until you kill 3 people, you can't date Agent Doll. I don't know what's wrong with niggas, man. Niggas are crazy. All right. It says, your lips are full of lies, and your mouth spew corruption. Okay? And I know some niggas who do nothing but lie. From the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, he be goddamn lying. I had a friend like that, man. Nigga just lying, bro. Why, bro? But Jake think he got a lie to kick it. But as we say, you don't have to lie to kick it, man. But niggas are full of lies. It says, no one cares about being fair and honest. The people's lawsuits are based on lies. They conceive evil deeds and then give birth to sin. They hatch deadly snakes and weave spider webs. Whoever falls into their webs will die, right? If you fall into a nigga trap, you're going to die, man. That's why I advise don't even go around them. It says, and there's danger even in getting near them. Just getting near niggas is a danger, man. Why? Because you don't know if Jake beefing with somebody. You don't know, if the nigga slept with somebody, baby mama and the dude looking for him, coming to shoot him up. You don't know, bro. That's why it would be wise to stay away from niggas as much as possible, man. Because it's a danger even in getting near them, okay? This is the Most High speaking, man. It says, their webs can be made into clothing, and nothing they do is productive, right? Nothing niggas do are productive, man. Every time niggas get together, death comes and death get executed. Niggas always fighting, right, to women. I don't think that I haven't been to no function where women hasn't fought. I think almost every function that, that I've been to in the world, after the club or something, man, women always fighting, or about to fight. Niggas too. Something is wrong with our people, man. Okay, the Most High got Jake bugged out. It says all their activity is filled with sin, right? Everything niggas do, everything that they are involved in is filled with sin. No matter if they're going to church, to a Halloween party, to a family reunion, it's nothing but wickedness, man. Nothing but wickedness, okay? It says, and violence is their trademark, right? Niggas all about violence, man. Jake always, bragging about his city being a murder capital. Right, you hear it inside these songs. Jake is crazy like that. This is why you hear all this crap in these music, man. All niggas talk about is violence, bro. It says, their feet run to do evil, and they rush to commit murder. They think only about sinning. Misery and destruction always follow them. And thus you get this situation here in Baltimore and also in Chicago and other places, man. Just niggas don't know how to get together and have, good, clean fun. There's always some gangbanging going on. There's always some shooting. And in a couple days, you're going to see it. All right, once again, a mass shooting took place somewhere and niggas got put to death. It's sad, but it's reality, man. All right, so with that, I want to close out. I pray that this was edifying to you, brothers and sisters. Keep praying, keep pushing, man. Keep fighting. Shalom.